The night in Coldwater, Montana, was the kind of cold that seeped into your bones and made you crave warmth in any form. The old farmhouse heater rattled weakly in the corner as I stood in the kitchen stirring a pot of vegetable soup, steam curling up and fogging the frosted window. My name is Rachel, I'm 44, and I've carried the title of single mother for most of my adult life. My son, Noah, now 22, has been my anchor for as long as I can remember, my reason to keep going even on the hardest days. We've always been close. Maybe too close. That night he came home late. His shoulders slumped under the weight of something heavier than the worn-out backpack he carried. His eyes looked drained in a way that wasn't just about fatigue. "Mom," he said softly, standing in the doorway. "I don't feel so great." His voice was small, and my heart clenched. "You look wiped out, sweetheart," I said gently. "Why don't you go lie down in my bed? It's warmer in there. This house feels like a freezer." He didn't protest, just nodded and shuffled down the hallway. I grabbed the thick quilt from the couch and followed him. When he collapsed onto the bed, I tucked the blanket around his shoulders and brushed the damp hair from his forehead. "Thanks, Mom," he murmured, eyes already fluttering closed. I sat on the edge of the bed, listening to his breathing steady, telling myself it was just another night of care and comfort, like countless nights before. But the house was so cold, the heater fighting a losing battle, and I did something I hadn't planned. I lay down beside him. I told myself it was just to share warmth, that it was the practical thing to do. But when Noah shifted closer, his head brushing my shoulder, the silence in the room felt heavier than before. His arm slipped around my waist, a familiar gesture, but something about it felt different this time. I froze. I told myself I was imagining things. That this was innocent, like when he was small and crawled into my bed after my neck, and my thoughts began to spiral. Noah was my son. My boy. "Mom," he whispered after a long moment, his voice low and hesitant. "Is this okay?" I wanted to answer, to ease the uncertainty in his voice, but my words caught in my throat. I managed a small nod, unsure of what it even meant. He reached up and brushed a strand of hair from my cheek, his touch so gentle it startled me. And then, almost as suddenly, he pulled back. "Sorry, Mom," he said quickly, a nervous laugh escaping his lips. "I don't know what that was. I didn't mean to." The spell broke. I sat up, my breath shaky, forcing a reassuring smile. "It's okay, Noah. We're just tired. That's all." But it wasn't okay. Something had shifted. The doorbell rang suddenly, sharp and insistent. I jumped, grateful for the distraction. At the door stood Chris, our neighbor from across the field. He was kind, practical, the type who always looked out for people. "Hey, Rachel," he said, glancing past me into the house. "Saw your lights flickering. Heater still giving you trouble?" I nodded, trying to appear calm. "Yeah, it's barely holding up tonight." "Mind if I take a look?" he asked, stepping in with a small toolbox. As Chris worked, he chatted casually, asking about Noah's classes at the university and my job at the local library. I responded automatically, my mind still tangled with the moment I'd just left behind. Noah lingered nearby, silent and stiff, his jaw tight. When Chris finished, he gave a small smile. "All set for now. Call me if it acts up again." He gave Noah a brief nod before heading back into the icy night. I closed the door, the silence rushing back in like a tide. "You okay?" I asked softly, turning to Noah. He shrugged. Didn't expect Chris to show up, he muttered, his tone clipped. I wanted to ask more, but he turned away and disappeared into his room. I stood alone in the quiet house, soup still cooling on the stove, the night's events replaying in my mind like a film I couldn't stop. I felt like a stranger in my own home. A soft knock startled me later. "Come in," I said. Noah stepped inside, his hands shoved deep into his pockets, his eyes downcast. He sat on the edge of the bed, shoulders hunched. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I don't know what's going on with me. Earlier, it was weird. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable." His voice cracked, and the sight of his turmoil pulled at me. I reached out, resting my hand on his arm. It was meant as comfort, though it carried a strange weight. "It's okay," I said softly. "Maybe we're both just feeling things we don't understand. It's been just us for so long, that can make things complicated." "I don't want to mess this up," he whispered. "You're everything to me, Mom." His words gutted me. "Maybe we just need to take a step back," I said gently. "We don't need to figure it all out tonight." He nodded slowly, leaning his head on my shoulder like he used to when he was little. I let him. The familiarity comforted me, even as I knew something had changed. Then another knock sounded at the door, insistent and sharp. I opened it to find Chris standing there again, his brow furrowed with concern. "Rachel," he said, voice low. "Sorry to bother you. You seemed a little off earlier, and I just wanted to check in." I glanced back at Noah standing in the hallway behind me, his expression unreadable. "We're fine, Chris," I said, my voice shaking despite my best effort. "Just a quiet night." He studied us for a moment before nodding. "All right. I'm next door if you need anything." When I shut the door, Noah stepped closer. "Mom," he said softly, "and maybe we shouldn't push this. Maybe we just need some time." I nodded, though I wasn't sure what that meant, or where we went from here.